there's this little bit in between. After death and before the funeral, you're in a mortuary somewhere. What do you want to happen there? Because nobody thinks about that bit, right? And if you know what can happen there, which is what I feel like I have been whistleblowing, I feel, for a few years about what can happen to you, what I have seen in other funeral homes, because I've worked for a few and they're all pretty similar.
Deb, I'm so excited to speak to you. I saw you give a bit of a talk at the People's Health Alliance, and I was so intrigued with what you're doing and learning more about that. So thanks for having a chat with me. And could you tell us, like, you've gone into funerals, which is a highly monopolized industry. Why did you choose funerals? Like, what led you here?
Okay, so I'm just going to close my door. So I would say that it started with yoga. So my yoga teacher said there were humans have two main fears in life, the fear of pain and the fear of death. And if you can relieve yourself of those fears in this lifetime, then you're on your path to enlightenment. So that's what got me interested. I hadn't even really contemplated my own death at that point. I was like early 30s. And I
Yeah.
started like, investigating that, I suppose. And then um I'm not sure the actual progression. I think I went and saw this lady give a talk at this music festival I went to, like a rave, and but a conscious rave, where they have the conscious areas. And she was giving a talk, and she was a death walker. And by the end of the talk, she was so inspiring. I walked out of there going, I want to be a death walker. I
Do you just
also I saw a really good funeral. It was a friend of a friend. I only met the guy once, and it was a sad funeral. He was 31 years old. He'd hanged himself on a tree because his girlfriend didn't love him anymore. And so super sad, huge crowd. And at his local where he did his boxing and stuff, he was super fit, super handsome, all of that kind of stuff. And so, but I wasn't emotionally attached. I was there to support my friend. And this celebrant just did such a beautiful job of making it a celebration of his life and bringing in all the love. And I was like, man, I want to do that. So I tried to get into funeral celebrancy. That was really hard, but I did my wedding and funeral celebrancy together. And I just started getting weddings and couldn't get into the funeral industry. Did the Death Walker course later, or like a few years after that, seeing that thing.
Deb,
I
could you
did.
explain Death Walker to us?
So the
Like,
Death
yeah, just
Walker,
to
yeah, sure. So I suppose so these are usually like a 3-day weekend or course, which is, and she does different, ongoing courses and stuff like that. She's an amazing woman, Zenith Farrago. She's part of the Natural Death Care Centre up in Mullumbimby, like, the homeland of hippies. Um, and ma- she's like, she's an amazing soul. And went and did her Death Walker course, which is basically one who walks with death, can walk with death, is comfortable walking into the house of someone who's just lost someone, that kind of thing. So these were all little things that were on my path of figuring out where I was going to fit into the whole realm. And still I was having difficulty, like I was applying for jobs at funeral homes, and I just wasn't getting any love. then I did this course, which was actually a table college, which was a chaplaincy course. I thought maybe I'll sit with people as they're dying. Kind of like I thought rather than doing a death doula thing, I'd go the mainstream and that was I was I was probably about halfway through that course. I'd been applying for funeral home jobs, and my dad had recently passed as well, and he was one of the first people. I'd done a couple of funerals, but I did my dad's funeral, like organized it all, and it was, if you don't mind me saying so, it was fucking amazing. It was a true celebration of
Right.
his life. There was an open bar when you walked in. It was at this beautiful venue, like an old town hall with a mezzanine level and, up on stage and all that. We had a life size cutout of my dad in gold hot pants on the stage, like all of his friends we're from Liverpool, so they're all singing songs of Liverpool and so it was beautiful. And I thought, if I can do that for my dad, I can do that for anyone. And that really um, propelled me again to put out the call to the funeral homes, and someone took me on. I won't say which funeral home. And I was with them for about a year or so, and it really made me want to start my own funeral home. This is because of what I saw, mainly well, one, ethically, diametrically opposed to myself. Just like I'm very much like I don't care about money and stuff, but this was a true businessman, and he had zero compassion for the people that came in. He was a good actor and a good upseller. And also, he really enjoyed his mortuary work. And, there was him and another guy. Well, there was a couple of morticians and another funeral home that worked there. One that purports to be natural. I'd actually applied to this guy first anyway. He never got back to me. Anyway, so yeah, the mortuary work for me, it was highly chemicalized, highly invasive, non-consensual. Obviously, the dead person can't give consent, but there was never any kind of, on all the forms you fill as a family, when you fill out the forms, never anything to say, hey, do you mind if we kind of cut open your loved one's carotid artery and fill them full of formaldehyde. There was no tick box for that or any of the other highly invasive procedures that I saw that in in my eyes um, are highly unnecessary, because this person who's undergoing all of these procedures to look more alive is about to be either burnt or buried. So for me, it started to be like, and I really wanted to work in the mortuary because I wanted to be nice to the people there. It was like I was really, there's, there's a real beauty in death, you know, um, and that just what was happening to these people to me was abhorrent. In fact, like I'm getting like I can feel like a bit of emotion coming into me now as I talk about it, because I had to have the poker face,
Mm.
oh, why are you doing that? Why are you using this massive cannula to like suck out this person's inside? Stuff like that. Um,
And stuff that would not, well, most families wouldn't even know that this is going on. Is that what you're saying? Like you
yes. No,
come to
no,
a funeral
not
home,
families. Most people
most
do
people.
not know about this. If you think about it, even the way they've set up, they're now getting it's the in thing to do the advanced care directive, right? Yeah,
I don't
your
know what that is.
advanced care. Oh, advanced care directive is what you want after death. Everyone's doing one. It's like, I don't want to be resuscitated. Things like that.
Okay.
If this happens, if I can't talk anymore, I don't want to eat, just stop feeding me. Whatever your wishes are. Then it's your funeral wishes. What do you want for your funeral? There's this little bit in between. After death and before the funeral, you're in a mortuary somewhere. What do you want to happen there? Because nobody thinks about that bit, right? And if you know what can happen there, which is what I feel like I have been whistleblowing, I feel, for a few years about what can happen to you, what I have seen in other funeral homes, because I've worked for a few and they're all pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Some are worse than others, as in when I say worse. So I know one funeral home will do 100% embalming. That's just the way they do things. They embalm every single person that comes in there.
What's embalmed, Deb? Sorry, I'm not up with the
Oh,
lingo.
okay. Sorry. Okay. So embalming is what I was talking about, where they'll cut one of your major arteries, like usually this one here, the
Yeah.
carotid, and then they've got this big vat of like orange formaldehyde, like it's about this big. Like
Oh,
I think, like yeah. So basically, they pump it up into the head, and then they turn the needle around. They go back down into the body. Now, so what that does is it say as we start dying, depending on what's going on with our body, how old we are, what drugs we've been taken, etc., the body will start to decay, to start dying.
deteriorate. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So things like your ears might go, like your earlobes might go a bit dark, black, and your fingertips, things like that will start to blacken up. This isn't like the immediate case, but say someone like you or I, we're probably going to stay pretty good right now because we're in good shape. So we're going to deteriorate slower.
Mhm.
So, but if you put the formaldehyde in and someone's got dark ears, because it's got all this, it basically plasticizes you a bit and preserves everything, pumps this orange liquid inside your veins, which can return this darkness to a pink color. So you look more alive, which can make your fingertips a white again because all this orange stuff's going into your veins. And it's like, okay, why? Why can't we just have a conversation with someone? Oh, why is my loved one's fingertips black? Well, because they're dead. Or, you could even, if it's going to upset someone, maybe put a bit of makeup on. But I just find most people have been with their loved ones just before death. So there's not that much difference. Often
Mhm.
people are already deteriorating before death. There's a lot of, like, we literally start, dying before we die, it doesn't make sense. So the fingertips might already be a bit black anyway, because blood stopping going through, all that kind of thing. So personally, I feel like, conversations, etc. But what I do, obviously no chemicals and no invasive procedures, nothing I have seen. So I've done a mortuary technician course. So apart from spending all the time in the mortuary, I've also done the full course where I've learned to embalm people. And the other thing that they do is they sew or glue the mouth shut. First, they will block all the orifices, particularly the nose, the throat. So they get like wadding and get a thing and stuff it right down your esophagus there. And then they'll get a strip of each and stick it up the nostrils and then ram it up back to stop anything coming down. So things like that I don't do because again, it's invasive. And a lot of people believe that the soul is released through the mouth. Makes sense, right? You know, who knows, right? But to me, it feels like it's just blocking. And then also then they'll close. but do you want to know about the mouth closing? So there's two main. One is the lazy way, which is super gluing the mouth shut, which I find just disgusting. Imagine having your just on an energetic, spiritual, less like feeling, like having your mouth sewn or glued shut for all eternity. You know, doesn't sound right, does it?
Just
So,
using super glue on your mouth sounds weird.
actually sewn, and this is like because I started working in the mortuary more and more, and because I want to understand, I had to do it by other people's standards, what they wanted. So I have done these things. I have learned how to sew a mouth shut. I've never super glued a mouth shut, but I've sewn a bunch of mouths shut, and I've apologized to every single one of those people. And they know I didn't, I had no choice. And the reason why, and sorry, if you want me to just one step further, I've also heard of a funeral home, and I'm sure they're not alone, who've developed another technique, which is to nail gun here and here, nail gun with some wires, and then they wire them shut. I know, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't think of the body as sacred. This is the whole thing,
They're just
right?
like, I don't know, I don't even know what the word is. Just, I don't know.
It's full on, and this is why we should all know this. The more of us that know this, the less chance it's going to happen to us, or our loved ones, right?
Yeah, but what's their answer? What's their reasoning for doing this? Like,
Okay, yeah. So this, I'll tell you why. Because when we have a viewing, so basically, you become the product for the funeral home. They want you to have a good experience for the viewing. This is why they do the formaldehyde thing, because you look more pink, right? You look more alive. And so you come in and see mum or dad, and you're like, oh, they're all pink and lovely and alive looking. The reason why they sew or glue the mouth shut is because if you're lying down and you're dead, all these muscles relax. So you're going to be like that.
okay.
So there can be an odor coming from the thing, and it's just not very seemly. So they have developed these techniques. These are mortuary techniques that everybody learns.
So it's
So
just for
sewing
aesthetics. It's just to sell the
for aesthetics,
product of this
for
funeral
aesthetics,
being
for
aesthetically
aesthetics.
beautiful.
I'll tell you, but one. Do you want me to explain how they sew the mouth shut? Do you want me to go through the actual process?
Might as well. You're here.
So they go in under here, right, and come out here. Right? So you got the thread. Then you go up here behind the navel cavity. You've got like it's a hook. It's a needle like this. So you're going up here, coming out through here, and then back behind and through the other side.
I'm just
Then
like,
you then you've got to come back. I can't remember because I haven't done it for so long. But basically, you're coming up through again, bringing that bringing your needle out, coming back through, bringing that up behind, and then tying it
pulling it,
together.
tightening it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
it's
So yeah,
mangulating bodies, basically.
it's highly invasive, and I hated doing it. So what I was trying to think of, people don't like seeing an open mouth, and like I say, there can be, death breath, which is not pleasant often. So I have wait, I'll show you. What about if I start walking around the house and I'll show you this wait, I'll turn the thing around. Can I do that?
Yeah.
How do I do that? Oh,
Flip.
how do I can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can still hear you, but I can still see you too.
All right.
Does it let you flip?
I'm gonna just go around the house. So
Yeah, yeah, that's
this
perfect. At
is
least you're in it too.
this is my little office. There's my dog down there. Wait, where is she? Where are you, Heidi?
Oh,
There.
Hi there.
She's become like a therapy dog for
Aren't they?
people, you know.
The dogs are great.
So this is Deb.
Hi,
She's
Deb.
my new
No,
assistant. Deb,
Deb?
yeah, yeah, we're both
Oh, you
Deb.
got two Debs.
Yeah.
It's not confusing.
Is this Deb? Yeah, this is Deb. Have you seen the you wouldn't have seen the property. Hold on, I'll just go up the
No,
front. It's so cute. Oh, wait, am I gonna like lose reception? I might.
I'll let you know if we do.
It's like an old cottage, so
Oh, gorgeous.
and then that's my hearse over there. Oh wait, let's come this way.
I
I
like the
feel like I'm
garden.
gonna this is my hearse here. Can you
Oh,
see that?
beautiful. Down to earth
Yeah,
funerals, yes.
yes. All right. So go through the door. So it's a long rabbit warren of a place. And that's my waiting area.
Oh, beautiful.
There are my a bunch of handmade urns.
Oh,
And
gorgeous. Made properly. Good material, good
yeah,
natural
right.
materials.
Yes, all natural materials.
Oh,
And I try and get handmade. There's some flowers that I did for yesterday's funeral. I do all the flowers myself.
oh, really? You're a florist as well.
When I do flowers. Oh, that's the other thing I didn't show you in here. Look, I do. Sorry, I do. With I've got this little thing, and I do my own
Oh,
engraving,
oh,
like for
beautiful.
memorial books and nameplates and stuff like that.
Oh, gorgeous.
It's another skill I've acquired. And
Never
then
ending.
this is my little where we do our catering through here.
So this is one option, Deb, that people
And
could
then
choose to have the ceremony here at your place in Reynella.
yeah, so this is the little courtyard here. And then it goes up here on the faraway tree walk. Go up here. I'm just trying to get the right angle for you. So I'm just developing this area
Mm-hmm.
into a space for outdoor funerals. Can you see that?
Oh, beautiful. Yep. Paving. Yep.
Can you see that?
Mhm. Yep. The paving.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have to get the keys. Yeah. So just a little, yeah, outdoor area. My chapel might not be set. Hold on, I'll keep on going through the house. So this is kind of my coffin range. So that's the cardboard one, which also comes in white.
Mm-hmm.
That one, maybe I'll turn them around. That one's a handmade one from my handyman.
By wood
And
with
then,
pure wood.
yeah, and
Yep.
then wicker.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's cedar wood. That's pure cedar wood. And then that's another handmade one. This is a shiny one just for people who come here accidentally. And they just want a normal one, just to show them that we can do normal ones. And then that's another one that you can, well, can you see that? Yeah, that's another Enviro pine one. So from plantation pine.
Because Deb, I remember from your talk, you were saying that most funeral homes, their coffins have got plastic, so they don't biodegrade. Is that right? Did I hear that right?
Yes. Yes. So if a lot of the pre-made coffins come already with the plastic lining, which I remove. I'm still trying to, I've got a bunch of it, of the plastic lining. Sometimes we've used it, like if we do painting or something like that, we'll just reuse it at least once. Um, and other places will just have a big roll of plastic, like a massive, like meter wide, maybe a little bit wider than a meter wide, thick plastic roll that they will pull down cut off and then line the base. That's
Mhm.
because there's a little regulation in the Burials and Cremations Act that says something about a coffin must be lined to this weird. It's got a weird. I think it's like probably a plastic measurement of like. So they've all assumed thick white plastic. But when I asked Zenith, I said, Zenith, how do you? Because I was working not for this guy, but alongside. He was working within the first funeral home that I was working at, and if I was like, why do you line you? Because this guy's like, I don't want to say his business name, but he's naturally based in his name. Anyway,
Which is a
and
lot of
I
people
said,
say they're natural and they're not in every industry.
oh, he's doing it purely because he studied the industry and where the industry is heading.
Oh,
And he's just seeing it as a business move, not what he is ethically aligned with.
yeah. Can't stand that.
But anyway, so I was like, what would Zenith do? And I called her and asked her what she would do, and I said, what do you do? Like, instead of having plastic on the bottom, she goes, we just asked the family to bring blankets in. I was like, oh, because they're natural fibers, make sure they're natural fibers, so much more eco-friendly. Even in a cremation, from a cremation point, your ashes are going to be non-toxic if you've
Mhm.
got no toxins within,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Makes sense. Anyway, it just doesn't seem like many people give a shit about it, to be honest. This is Gary has a little healing room here, which he makes these mandala things, and he also makes these little, smudging sticks.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he makes
Beautiful.
beautiful, like nice ones.
Beautiful.
And he does like readings and stuff. He also has a room here. His bedroom's here, my bedroom is there, and then we have a spare, like a storage room. Let me just grab the keys and I'll have a feeling the chapel isn't entirely perfect, but that's okay.
It's
If I can
fine.
find my keys there. I've got a few chairs out of place. Hang on. That would have been just to move a thing through, a coffin through the other day. So that's my little chapel. That's like a stained glass window over there
Oh,
and over
gorgeous.
there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So, um, do you want to see the mortuary? There's
Sure.
no dead people. There's no dead people in there. It's empty.
Okay.
My fridge is
Okay.
empty. So the
Oh,
mortuary is behind the chapel.
frozen. Oh, didn't like that. You're frozen now, Deb.
Very small mortuary, but plates that people go in there.
Oh, you froze. It won't show us.
Oh,
Oh,
am I?
now
Oh,
you're back. It didn't
I think
show
it's because
us.
I'm too far. Have I?
Okay, now it's letting us go in there a
You
little
didn't see
bit.
that?
No.
Okay, so that there.
Yeah.
No, hold on. What I'll do is I'll see if I can get a hotspot with my phone.
Okay.
Hold on. It might be too hard to do it, but it's a what you saw behind the wooden thing is the wash table.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that. Oh, that's what I was going to show you as well. Hold on. If I go in here quickly, maybe it won't. Maybe it won't disconnect.
Oh, doesn't like us going in there. No, Deb doesn't like it.
So that's
Sacred
the
space. Won't let us go in there.
fridge.
No, it won't let us.
Can you
You're
see it?
frozen on just outside the door. No, it doesn't
Did
like
we
us going in
freeze?
there. Doesn't like it. Sacred space. Not allowed.
So it's just, like I said, I just got um, the table made, so it wasn't like a medicalized table, like a wooden table.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've brought with me is what I was going to show you. So I had to come up with a way to close the mouths for viewing because nobody likes to look in a open dead person's mouth. So I got my guy to come up with something, and it's just that. So when they're in there, it's like I can mold this around. So when it's in there, when they're lying down, this will go down their chest, and the weight of their hands on top of it will,
Oh, okay. Prop it up. That's it.
rather than getting that needle and or getting the super glue out, or the nail gun.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
So basically, it's literally the way I feel like all I've done is seen what's happening now, and I have maybe with within me, but within all of us. And when I say it, you'll know it's the truth. Is like less than 100 years ago, we were all dealing with our dead people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and without a doubt, women were the ones working, washing and dressing the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Mm-hmm.
see, no matter if he's a saint, and if he's a saint, he probably isn't working in a mortuary. But even if he's a saint, if you see a man trying to put knickers or stockings on an old lady, any lady, it
I
ain't
can't
right.
do it.
So I believe, politically correct or not, mortuary work is women's work. Men can assist in the. I have the Gary who makes all the feathers. He's just been amazing. He's become my assistant rather than me moving literally the dead weights around by myself, which I have been doing. I do
Wow.
have equipment. I have equipment there, which I would have showed you if it hadn't kept cutting out. But
Mm.
it's really, it's like more disability equipment. When you're lifting old people off,
Yeah.
I just have that stuff. So I don't have to do that kind of weight. But even when you're dressing someone, they can be quite heavy.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, having some muscles with me, but I can do quite a lot myself. But it's been great having Gary to do like that extra kind of.
Yeah.
I have a good little team now, so it's starting to. It's been a trip these past couple. So I sold my house. Did I tell you that? I sold my
No.
house. So I sold my house during COVID to um to fund opening a funeral home. So I didn't have my whole house. It was just like a portion of my house that I owned. So I basically just had just over 100 grand
Mm-hmm.
to buy the hearse, buy the fridge, do the things, get the lease. So I literally just had enough to basically open the front doors. And it's been hard, like, because it's funerals are, people don't entrust you with their funerals, just, they've heard of all these other brands. But now people are starting to realize that they are big multinationals. you know?
What is it? I find as well with them, because the face of them looks all caring, is that it's almost like the used car salesman industry, the person out the front, I ask people like, how was your experience with the funeral? Oh, they were so lovely, they were so caring. Is that they've just got their front people, because behind the scenes it's a
Yeah. Well, the thing
huge
is that
business.
let's take just for example, let's take White Lady, and I'll openly talk about the corporation names, no problem. The other individual ones, I don't want to put the moz on them because they're all on their own journey doing that what they believe is right. Whether it's right or wrong in my eyes, it's not for me to judge.
Yeah.
I do though.
We're still human. We're
But
still human.
well, that's why I was so pushed to sell my house. It was a huge leap of faith to do it, to
That's
put
it.
my only asset on the line. I'm a single mum, so it wasn't like. But I thought if I don't do it now, I was coming to approaching 50. Not it's not getting any younger, and this is a very physically demanding and emotionally and spiritually demanding job. So it was now or never kind of thing, and basically the universe um, supported me and has been supporting me. Hasn't always been easy, but it's starting to feel like more people are. It's not starting. It's not starting to feel like more people know who I am. Uh, People in the industry, especially like those in the conscious death industry, know that I exist now. It's Adelaide as well. It's all word of mouth. So if I continue to do a good job, be honest, not try and rip people off, I'm going to be successful. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
there's no doubt
Simple
that
stuff.
the people will keep coming. And I feel like I bloody deserve it. I've worked really hard to retain my integrity. I will never sell out. A lot of these little ones that start to become successful then sell out to the multinationals. So two major multinationals own I don't know what percentage of it. It's like 60 to 70% of Adelaide, but I think also the wider like national, they own them all. So it's a big corporation
Of
that you're
course.
walking into with a different shop front. That's what I was going to say. So somewhere where with White Lady, where their portrayal is women, you talk to lovely women at the front and they're nice and everything. They wear their nice hats and their weird purple leather gloves. And they're called white ladies. I mean, can a black lady go for a job there? I don't know. Would an Asian lady coming out surprise you? Like, anyway, but what you, as the customer, would assume is that the white ladies are going to be looking after your loved one just behind the door there. Not the case. So, for instance, I went to the main mortuary for InvoCare to collect a body, right? It's in, do you know, Blackwell's in Theberton?
Hmm.
So behind their place is the main holding area. I think it's got about 60 or 70 fridges. Like it's like stacked up high, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all along and around. I think they've expanded because they are taking all the dead in from all their different homes, which is like Simplicity, Blackwell's, White Lady. They got English Rose. They've changed that into Simplicity, and there's another one as well. All of those people that they get bring into this, massive big place where whoever's get there is going to be working on your body. So you thinking that they're just behind the door of your place, they're somewhere else in a big holding place, and they're going to whoever's on shift at mortuary there is going to be doing the so I just feel like they lie to people. They don't tell people like Alfred James, they've just sold out like last year. but they don't tell people that they're InvoCare. You'd have to go in there and say, so does Alfred James still run this joint? Or the Alfred James family? Because that's what it was. It was a family funeral home. And that only if you ask them that question will they tell you the truth. Otherwise, you're assuming that you're going to a family run funeral home. It's not run by the family anymore. It's
Mhm.
sold out. So
Wow. Well,
yeah.
it's all the things that they don't tell. I think that's the biggest shock to most people, and to like me included, is there's that whole big that they don't even ask you about, tell you about. They just put on the nice face that we really care, we really care. And people at the front probably do really care. They don't even know what's
They
going on
don't.
behind the scenes.
I honestly think from what I'm getting, not all those people at the front do care because they are employees of a business. So you're going to get lack of care just in that anyway. They're just doing their job. So
Oh,
I
okay.
get people coming to me having really bad experiences with those people. Basically, a lot of saying no to people about what their requests are. And I'm like, or telling them big lies, telling them lies about stuff. Oh no, we couldn't get their ashes back for another 2 weeks. And I'm like, ashes come back within 1 to 2 days, you know, things like that. Like they would just say these statements or, this costs this much. And I'm like, oh my God, they're charging that much? Fucking hell. It's outrageous. So
Outrageous. But no
yeah.
one
And
knows any better because
conferences
there's
they're
no
made.
competition.
Well, all because they're all rorting at the same level. So,
Yeah.
if everybody's on that same level, you're going to be screwed everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I'm not going to give away my services. I want to be paid for my services, but I just want to maintain that level where it's not greed. It's just like going, okay, this is, reasonable. I want
Yeah.
to be reasonably priced for what I do. With people like us, I don't know what you're like, but throughout my life, I think I've always done stuff for less than I'm worth,
Mhm.
and I want to get where I am. It's taken me a lot of like basically following my heart in regards to what I'm enjoying doing in my life, like
Mhm.
talking about career wise. I would rather not work than do something that I don't want to do. Just, so
Yes. Yes.
I had to find what it was. And it was yeah, this.
Well,
So
lucky
and
it
I love
was.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like it literally doesn't feel like a job. Like it just feels like I am doing my calling.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm meant to be here for.
How exciting. And the
Nice.
beautiful thing about that is when you're doing that, so many people prosper because of that. Like
Yeah.
you're creating an amazing service that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
which we need to change the world and create a better world. We need this.
And yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. It's like if you can't solve what's going on in the external world, do what you can from your little universe.
Yes.
Oh God, I just forgot what I was going to say then. Damn. Anyway, sometimes my mind goes. It might come back to me. Keep going.
Yeah, but I was just saying that you found your calling, you're actually participating in your calling and living it, and so many people are going to um, be so grateful for this.
I feel like, sometimes I feel like people are lucky to have found me because I'm not like, mainstream and stuff like that. It's like to know that they don't have to go through what they might go through in another funeral home.
Mhm.
I was talking to someone the other day about some people's belief systems as well. It's really, for me, it's really interesting. There's so many different belief systems about what happens after you die,
Mhm.
but quite a lot of them have these things of like the body is highly sensitive and can feel much more. So things are more painful. Like a lot of people don't move people around. That's why they rest the body for a while. Um, so if you think about what people are going through, imagine if that's true. Imagine if,
Mhm.
if you're getting your carotid cut and that really hurts, or your nail gun, ow. Um, but yeah, also like the soul escaping through the mouth. For me, I feel like the soul is in every cell of our body, and that it takes us a while to exit from our soul to exit from our body.
Mhm.
Because I feel like if you think about it, your soul is attached to this physical self. Yeah, we grow accustomed to being with it. So
Mhm.
that's why I think it takes us a little while to figure out how to get out. Have you heard of Tom Barrett? He was part of the freedom movement in Melbourne.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's called Living Free now.
Okay.
But I was doing a podcast with him, and when I was explaining about the stuffing stuff down the throat and sewing the mouth shut, and also what they do in coroners, cutting up the brain and the thing to test them. He said, "Do you think that there's soul traps, like traps to keep you here, to keep
Mm-hmm.
our souls here?" And it's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, that
Well,
they want to make it difficult for us to escape this bloody matrix.
it's called. I've heard a couple of times that this is called a recycling planet because they keep recycling. We're not meant to have multiple lives and learning, or like we're meant to like have an experience thing.
Well,
We
or
go
we
back
get
and
to
go.
we get to a certain point. Like for me in this lifetime, I feel like I'm trying to figure out all the karmas and be the best person I can be and get it as enlightened as I can, so I can not recycle, or if I do recycle into the new world, not the new world order, the new world.
Have a completely different
It's
experience
coming.
somewhere else.
It's yeah, exactly. Go off into the other gazillion realms that are there, I believe.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
have absolutely no doubt that our soul is eternal, like through doing this work, also before this work, but also in doing this, I'm as a sensitive person, I can feel their energy is here. I often hear what they want. It's really
Mhm.
handy when I'm writing their funeral or stuff or picking something for them. I get in tuned with the people, which
Beautiful.
means in my experience, even now I can feel like goosebumps as I say it, is they're around. Their soul is around. Their soul is with their body. I
Yeah.
feel like most people are in some form at their funeral. you
Mhm.
know I don't know if we get to hear all the good stuff or how it works, but I feel like the energy of that person has definitely been present at most of the funerals that or I don't like to call them funeral celebrations of life that I've done.
Mhm.
And I
We're
think it
creating
is
a beautiful environment when they want to stay around. We want to
yeah,
look around some of those other funeral homes.
yeah. And the other thing is just like the whole thing of calling something a funeral, rather than a celebration of life, the difference in
Mm,
psychology of that is we should be celebrating life and not mourning death. Death is going to happen to all of us. Sometimes it's tragic, sometimes it's awful, but if it happens, it's happened. And we
yeah,
have to deal with it. We have to set that soul free. And celebrating their life is the best way that you can do it.
completely agree. I'm come from a European background, and death is a big mourning extravaganza. Like, I just don't resonate with that at all. Just
Yeah.
have never resonated with it. And I just I don't get it. I don't buy into it. I don't. So
Well, it's
that's why I
this.
think I affiliate with what you do so much. And when you talk about celebrating life, I'm like, that's
But I
how
mean, if you've
I
traveled,
agree.
sorry, yeah, if for me it was having experiences, and I feel like some of the experience, well, maybe all of the experience I've had are meant to have been, right? But so when I went over to Bali, the first place that I went to in Ahmed, the guy, I turned up and he starts chatting to me for a couple of minutes and goes, "Hey, do you want to come to a funeral?" And I went, "Yeah." And so
Random.
yeah, so I went up to this little village in a Balinese village, really rural, really like simple, pigs on chains and stuff, kids running around, huts and all that kind of stuff. And we rock up, and first there's a big feast, And the guy that I came with, he's bankrolling the whole thing. So he's like, the main, like, hey. So I'm just along for the ride. Then the dead body comes out on bamboo, and that someone gets up on a ladder, and there's a big long bamboo pole, and he pours water down the bamboo pole. They pours onto the body. Then all the villagers rush up and wash the body, like, have a quick, but they're all like giggling and stuff, like, touched it, done my bit. And then the body was covered with, like, I think just palm leaves and stuff. And all these musicians rock up, and we walk down
Wow.
the mountain about a kilometer or so down to these. It wasn't like a bonfire. It was like these two big, massive gas coils. They put the body on top and just lit up the gas coils. And as the body is burning, or not we, they chanted. It's all a lot of Sanskrit. They were Hindus, Sanskrit chants and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I know that one. And but there was a real jolly, happy, light
Mm,
mood. And I said to him, uh, I said, so this is a 73-year-old man. I said, if it had been a baby or a child, would there be any difference in the mood? And he said, no, because we believe if we are sad, then we hold their soul
I've heard
earth
that.
to earth. And then if we're happy, we set the soul free.
Mm,
And to me, it's like that literally changed my mentality. I was like, oh my God, we're getting it so wrong. We've
yes.
gotten it comes from the Victoria era of being somber and wearing black. It's like
Oh,
not many people
who
want
can
people
mourn
to
the
wear black.
longest? Who can wear black the longest? Who can be upset the most? Who's the
You must be
most
serious. You can't laugh.
hysterical?
If you laugh or clap, if you clap after a good speech, someone's just opened up their heart and soul. It's like,
Yeah.
give them a round of applause, man. That's
Yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I like to kind of
Oh,
change
love
the
it.
the vibe of it, from the start. Is like this person, look, most of the time it's easy to let go of old people for in my, not I'm not saying it's easy for everyone. I'm saying it in my sense, doing a celebration of life for an older person, for me, no problem. They've had a long life, they've done cool stuff. For me, it's tough on an emotional level when it's like someone my age or younger or a teenager. I've done, ugh,
Yes.
or babies. It's
Mm,
um it's tough, but it's also, like, for me, a reminder that you can step off this life at any time.
mhm, mhm.
That's why I'm going to Thailand tomorrow. Did I
Oh,
tell you?
no.
Yeah,
To
I'm,
do
I'm
what?
taking my family on holiday to Thailand. So
Oh,
which
beautiful.
which has come from, I can just I've just kind of got to the point where I'm like, okay, I think we can go on holiday. It's been a couple of years of hard work, so I
Oh,
deserve this.
beautiful. Yes, you do. You totally
Yeah.
do. And you need to do that to take care of yourself so that whatever you bring to these
Do you
families
know,
is your light.
I was the way I was umming and ahhing about it, because I'm still going to have my phone on, but it won't be the same as being here and stuff. And I have had a little bit of, worry about it because I'm the only person who's, responsible for everything. But I've kind of worked it out enough so I'm not freaking out. But it was a few months ago, I went and picked up a 39-year-old who had died of a very aggressive cancer. And it was on a Friday. And I said to his mum, I said, I'll meet you on Sunday. It's okay. I'll be at the funeral home anyway. And she just said to me, you make sure you're living your life, because he always said he was going to do it later. He was going to travel later. And so I literally booked it that weekend.
Oh, that is like, yeah.
If you don't take those messages from the
Oh,
universe, it's like, because you don't know.
yeah.
If there's, like I say, anything that I've learned is never expect tomorrow.
Mm,
Never expect tomorrow. Just like be grateful for each day, live each day. This is life affirming for me.
Mm.
Not, some people have an idea that this would be it is a tough job, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh yeah, of
And so
course.
interesting. Every
Yeah.
death is different. Every family is different. There's always these family dynamics. You're like a counselor pretty much every day, It's like, but then I get to do my creative, my flowers and my things. I'm writing my speeches and, so it's like, it's a really fully encompassing role. It's great. I
Oh,
don't like the paperwork. Fuck the paperwork. There's a shitload of that. So, but you
oh,
got to
that
do it.
can go. That can go.
I'm training
That's
Deb
what
up, the
that's
other
it. Yeah.
Deb.
You get someone that loves that and it's their passion, and then everyone's doing their passions. That's what you
Yes,
find.
exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
Deb, I just absolutely just love what you're doing. Like that's
Oh,
why
thank you.
when I knew that you're going to be speaking, I was so excited just to see you because it really speaks to me personally. Like I
I can
said,
tell,
growing up
yeah.
with the
Maybe you
other
want to
way,
be a funeral director in your future.
I don't know. I don't know if that's my calling, but
If you ever want to bring the kids for a tour of a funeral home for something, actually, I'm sure some children's group, I said if they ever want to come for a tour, because I don't think there should be any cap on when we learn about death. If you
hmm
go to another place, a great place that I went to for learning about how people treat death differently is India. Like I went to Varanasi, went to the burning ghats. Kids are
yeah,
just sitting there
yeah,
playing while people are running the bodies through the street.
hmm
They chant the bodies through the street, and the they don't even look up because they're so used to it. And it's like there's actually a stone in Varanasi that says we are. It's something like we the people of Varanasi are so blessed, and it's because they're so close to death. The place where so many Indians come to death. And I think it's a real blessing to
hmm
be aware of it. It happens, and a lot of us don't think about it, don't look at it. Somebody else do something with it. You
hmm
take that body away, I can't deal with it. It's like we should really get comfortable with death because it's going to happen to all of us. And
100%.
until then, live the fuck out of your life.
100%. It is such in the Western world, and it's not by mistake that that's been. They keep us in
Oh,
that fear,
100%.
doesn't it? It stays in that fear of doing that.
I even think so for me, the reason why I think the mortuary thing is the way it's been set up is the same way as the pharmaceutical industry, where they have trained the pharmaceutical industry now trains up the doctors to use their medicines. Oh, no, sorry, their poisons. Um, and so same with the mortuary, the chemical people who sell the formaldehyde and all the other array of oh God, so much. I had a bunch here. I inherited a bunch of chemicals when I bought my fridge and my hearse and all my equipment. I inherited all this like embalming stuff and all these different preserving stuff, and they all have skull and crossbones on them. They're so highly toxic, and I had them
Yeah.
sitting there for about 6 months in in my back room until I was like, I don't even like it being in the house. It feels
No.
dangerous
Yeah.
and energetically bad.
Energetically, I was going to say that.
And so I took it all out and I just gave it to another funeral home. It would have been thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And I was like, I don't want anything for it. I
Don't want
just
anything
don't want it.
attached to it. This is all the systems, and this is why I love what you're doing and what you're talking about as well, is because it's the truth and transparency. Why these systems set up, like the funeral, like the pharmaceutical, like the education system, if people really knew why these systems were set up and how they run their businesses, then
Hmm.
if they decide to keep engaging with them, well, then fine, you're consciously doing that. Like if people
Yeah.
watch this and they're like, yeah, I'm cool if that's happened to my loved one. Okay,
Most
go
people
forth.
aren't. It's
But if
actually
you're not,
distressed people. When I've said things, I have to be careful because if I say things to someone who's just had someone recently died, that's what they immediately think of when I talk about the sewing, the mouth shut, and all of these horrible procedures. That could have happened to their loved one.
yeah.
And so, and once you start realizing that it really changes your perspective when someone dies, even if you don't go with me, you can at least go, hey, I heard this lady said they do this. Can you leave my loved one alone?
Yeah,
Can you not touch them? And look, 9 times out of 10, they won't, but you can't guarantee it because they might
yeah,
just feel like it. I don't know. You just don't know. But that's what I was going to say is I'm not the only one. I am the only one in Adelaide of that. I am 100% sure. There's someone else who, like I said, does natural ones or calls himself naturally blah blah, but ethically, etc., not doing what I'm doing.
yeah,
Does not respect people and has zero empathy. I can guarantee that. I know him. I met him.
yeah.
I worked with him.
Not surprised.
And but yeah, I can't. I got to just not talk about other people badly. It's tough.
But it is the truth and
um,
transparency. Like people need to know what's going on, and then they can make their own decisions, and
yeah.
whatever that
Look,
is,
one
it
thing
is.
I want to say is like I am the only one in Adelaide, but when I was looking into it, like I don't know if you've seen the Tender Funerals documentary. It was on they started off a community-based funeral home. There's a bunch of like in Victoria, there's a couple. One's called Natural Grace. As you go up into New South Wales, Queensland, there's definitely a few there, and there's some more independent ones, more females doing it.
Yeah, yeah, great.
Which I feel like females are being called big time to work
Big
with
time.
in the death. Most of them are
Well, in
going
every
towards the death,
industry, I'm seeing it in every, like the women
but
are like,
most of these females who are getting the calling are going to the death doula thing, which there's a glut of death doulas, and there's not enough people who know what a death doula is. So you're getting all these lovely women who are like, I want to work, holding people's hands, lovely, but I wish they'd come and, work in funeral homes being, you know, there need to be more people working with the dead and stuff like that who are more inclined to be, nice, um, genuine.
yeah, genuine
Um,
integrity, like have integrity.
yeah, it's happening though. Like I say, it's around Australia, but definitely I know that I'm the only one. And basically, that was the conclusion that I came to was I was looking to work for somebody else, and whenever I was, when I was in the industry, I was asking around, and they were like, they're all the same. They're all the same. They're all going to do the same shit in the mortuary, pretty much.
They love the
Um,
money.
exactly. And
Mm.
it's a sacred kind of thing. Like you're in people have you have their loved one with you, and it's really important that you remember that. It's like it is really sacred,
Yeah,
that they're entrusting you. And like I say, it's really wrong that they have no idea of what's going on.
that is not cool. That is so not cool. But that is not.
It's a
And they
great
obviously
movie,
know
actually.
that.
Yeah, that's why it's all smoke and mirrors.
Mm,
Yeah, you can't
mhm.
go back, you can't do this because they know it's wrong.
Yeah,
I remember this girl explaining to people it was a conscious death weekend, and she just got a job as a mortuary technician in another funeral home. And I said, "Do you explain what you do in closing the mouth technique?" And she told people she's got the hook needle and she's telling, and she realized how awful it was only when everybody around her had your kind of, those kind of faces. And I said, well, I just put something, I showed them, just do this. I said, what do you reckon's better? You
yeah.
know?
You don't know what you don't
Um,
know.
exactly. But it feels like no, but everybody who's walked into a mortuary has just accepted that this is the way we do it. These are our mortuary techniques. This is what we've been sold as to how to, oh my God, you should see some of the stuff they do. Anyway.
Which is, Deb, why I focused on the education system, because I was like, understand all these industries, they're all corrupt, they're all running badly. It's like, what is the root cause? And the root cause is we're conditioned from such a young age, from 5, when we're into the education system, to memorize information and regurgitate it back. Don't ask any questions. Don't go against the grain. Like, people like you are completely rare. So when I hear you talk about these death doulas that are still doing that, it's like, of course they are. They're indoctrinated, unconsciously, completely indoctrinated. People that are asking questions and are going, actually, I don't think so, is rare, which is why we need to do more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Look, and I have definitely had opposition, like just things like, because I talked about it a lot beforehand, I was a bit silly. As in, I was like, I want to have a funeral home one day. And I was doing this while I was working for other places. So stuff like when I tried to get a Gmail address for Down to Earth Funerals, it was already gone. So they had like gone through and done that. And my website, like downtoearthfunerals.com or .com.au, were taken. So I ended up getting downtoearthfunerals.earth, and I reckon that's better anyway, for what I do. But it was like they were trying. I've been hacked a bunch of times. It's like it felt personal. I know it was personal, but because I'm railing against the system.
Yeah.
But now I just feel like I've got the touch wood, but there are enough people that know about me and enough um, energetic support of the people that they can't stop me.
No.
Well, I shouldn't. As far as like I'm not going to put it out
No.
there. It's like I'm just going to keep on going.
Yeah, beautiful. And the more and more people know about what's going on, I just can't imagine, knowing this, why you would want to now participate in that system. Yeah.
A lot of people will go, oh, so it's like, oh, Nat, wish I could bring Nat here, but she's already booked her funeral with thing. It's like, bad luck, Nan. Yeah, you can actually swap. When people prepay, you
Yeah.
can actually swap your prepayment to another funeral home. It's like, but people feel locked in. I get it. It would be, like I say, the word will get out there. It is spreading amongst the conscious death. I'm not going to be for everybody.
No,
That most
we don't want to
people are
be.
not going to be conscious enough to even think about it.
When
To
you're still
to to
worried
be
about what other
conscious
people.
enough to be conscious enough to think about your own death before you are in the dying process is amazingly conscious. Most people won't do it until they are literally dying. They
Mhm.
won't accept. We don't talk about it. We don't think about it.
Yeah.
So someone who comes and prepays, they've actually thought about it. Was like, I'm like, well done.
Yeah.
um. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, it's going to be great.
Anyway,
You are
yeah.
great. And thank you so
So are
much for
you. I
having
love
the
what
chat.
you're doing. I feel exactly the same about. Look, my kids are in Steiner. I mean, it's not the best, but it's a little bit better than mainstream.
Mhm.
Still majorly fucked up, but you know, I really love what you're doing. I think it's great. I do
Oh,
try and tell my children about the indoctrination of the state. My daughter now rolls her eyes when I talk about chemtrails, but that's all right.
yeah, they do a really good job in those schools, which is why
Mm,
I'm not surprised with any adults anymore. I'm like, you've just gone through the system perfectly. You've gotten your
yeah,
A's, or, you know. Anyway,
yeah.
we're all doing our bit, and you are definitely
That's all
doing
you can
yours.
do.
So thank you so much, Deb. I just absolutely love what you're doing, and I will
Oh, you're
spread you
welcome.
far and wide.
Thank you. It was really lovely talking to you. Hey.